Hey everyone! Today I want to make a video about a certain starter pen, namely the Faber Castell Loom. I have a few of these pens, as you can see, and I feel like they don't get talked about enough. Lots of people recommend a Lamy Safari or a Pilot Metropolitan as a starter pen, but I think that the Loom is a very, very good pen for first-time users. And you can use it with cartridges or a converter. And I've never ever experienced nib problems with the Faber Castells. And I have experienced nib problems with Safaris. Metropolitans not so much, but I don't like the grip of the Metropolitan. So if you want something different than a Metropolitan or a Safari, this is a good option. So I'll show you the different pens I have. I'll compare them to a Metropolitan and a Safari, and I'll give you a writing sample of one of these. I'm not going to ink them all. I do have a variety of nib sizes, but I think I'll go for the fine or the medium, which is the nib size most often chosen. So I'll give you my opinion about the writing experience and how they compare with the other starter pens that are often recommended. So let's go. Okay, so here we have some of the Faber Castell looms that I own. I have one more with a shiny cap, but I don't know where the section is. I think I lost it somewhere during the move, or it's just been misplaced. So I'm showing you these four. These three are of old collections and no longer available except for on maybe eBay. I love the matte caps. There are some models with shiny caps, but I love the matte finish. This one was really hard to find for me because they had already stopped making these, and my boyfriend got it for me somewhere on eBay. So if you like these finishes, you should probably scour eBay for them, because these colors are no longer generally available. So we have a blue one. This was the first one I got, or the orange. I can't remember. But I love this. They look really fancy for a 30-euro pen. I feel they look really a little more high class than a Safari, in my opinion. On the top, you have the Faber Castell logo. You have the imprint of the name of the company and the logo on the cap. There is a little indentation in the barrel. I don't know what that's for, but it looks nice. This is one of the newer models. Matte cap, shiny body. Still with the same imprint on the cap and on the finial. This one feels much lighter than the other ones. So I don't know if that has to do with the actual, the barrel, because as you can see, this is a shiny finish. I'm gonna try and gauge that for you guys. Or whether the cap has become plastic. I feel like the cap may have changed, but it might also, yeah, okay, this barrel, the shiny barrel is much lighter. So if you want a lighter pen, you're in luck with the shiny ones. They're slightly less heavy. Okay, so the nib. This is an extra fine nib. All the Faber Castell nibs have that little dotted pattern. I don't know if you can see it, but they actually have the logo on their nib. Don't have the most amazing camera, but it is on there. And their nibs are all amazing. I have never encountered a Faber Castell pen that did not write wonderfully. So as you can see, this is totally matte. This is a much broader nib. This is the medium. You can actually see the difference here in the tipping amount. So that's good. So yeah, this is a much finer nib than the medium here. Then the purple one has another medium nib. Wonder how that compares to the other one. They're like the same tipping size. It looks about the same, which is good because we like our nibs to be consistent, right? And then last but not least is a fine. Let's see how it compares to the extra fine, then a medium. Wonder if I can actually focus on this. It would be nice. So this is the medium. In the middle is the fine, and the extra fine is aside from it. I don't see a big difference between the fine and the medium, if I'm honest. But it's not reliable like this. You need to see a writing sample. This extra fine does look like a true Western extra fine, so that's really nice. Comparisons with other starter pens. Let's look at blindingly bright Lamy Safari. I like the Safari, don't get me wrong, but I think the nibs that Lamy makes are much more inconsistent compared to the Faber Castell nibs. As you can see, capped, the Faber Castell is much less big. The Faber Castell is a little heavier than the Safari, but the Safari is all plastic, so that is not a surprise for me. When you uncap them, the loom, the Faber Castell, is still quite a lot smaller than the Safari. The Safari is quite a large pen in my opinion. So if you have smaller hands and you don't mind a slightly heavier pen, definitely go for the Faber Castell Loom. So yeah, Faber Castell Loom, slightly smaller than the Safari. Also slightly heavier, well balanced. If you post the loom, it does not become unbalanced. This is a good pen to post. So if you like posting, to make it a little bigger or to just not lose the cap, this is a good option. I do not very much care for a posted Safari. As you can see, I can't even get in the shot right now. I'm filming very up close, but it is really big. It doesn't make it very unbalanced, but I just do not enjoy doing it. Okay, so we have the Loom and the Safari. Then we can add a Metropolitan, which in size seems to be very close to the Loom. Let's remove this for a second and actually look at these two uncapped. Also, fairly similar. The Metro is slightly bigger. My problem with the Metro, I like the Metropolitan, the Pilot Metropolitan. It is a good pen. It is a good starter pen. I don't like this step up. This feels weird to me. Also, the grip is very plasticky and it makes it feel slightly cheaper. The nibs are very good, so I have no complaints about the nib. They're just very good. So yeah, for the nib, you could get the Metropolitan. If you want a slightly more premium feel, I would go for the Faber Castell Loom. I prefer the Loom nibs still. They're very consistent, no problems with them. The Pilot Metropolitan nibs are good too, but I just prefer the Western wetness and width of the nibs. If you post the Metro compared to the Loom, they're basically still the same size. So for size comparison, you could get both. weight comparison, I think the Loom is slightly heavier. It depends on which iteration you get, because this one is definitely heavier than the Metro, but the shiny one is not that much heavier. So, and this is the only one you can get now. So the weight difference is very minimal nowadays. All right. Now that we've talked about these different starter pens, I think we should go to writing sample. I haven't actually inked one up, so I'm gonna do that, and then I'll come back and do writing sample. All right. And I'm back. I inked this pen up with Tsukiyo by Iroshizuku. As you can see, I did not do it very neatly. As a fountain pen user, I'm almost always covered in ink. I'm fine with that. This ink is well loved, as you can see by the amount that has gone already. Yeah, it's a lovely ink. One of almost my favorite Iroshizuku ink. What I forgot to say in the last part is that Faber Castell uses standard international cartridges and converters. They do make their own converter, and it's a very good converter. It's not that expensive, so if you're looking for a good standard international converter, the Faber Castell one is great. The Safari and the Pilot Metropolitan both use proprietary cartridges or converters, unless you're in the Europe. If you're in Europe and you're buying a Pilot, I think they're called Retro Pop, or they're called something different, then you get a standard international one. Faber Castell Loom, I inked up the fine nib with Iroshizuku Tsuki Ayo. This nib is very smooth. As you can see, it's not too big in my hand. It's very nicely balanced. I can post this cap, and it will still be nicely balanced. This pen does not get unbalanced when you post it. It does get a little heavier, but that makes complete sense because you're adding weight. So if you want a nice starter pen for about 30 to 35 euros, and I'm assuming it's similar in dollars, the Faber Castell Loom is a great option. One of my favorite starter pens. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you found this informative. If you can let me know what you like to see in reviews, please let me know in the comments, because I would love some feedback from you guys. This is my first actual review, and I'm still learning. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.